Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining me. You know what? I wasn't going to do this tonight because they were having issues. Well, I wasn't having issues. My service provider was having issues all of a sudden. And it was kind of weird. What are the odds? I did a video earlier, just a really quick short video. And I was testing something out and I did it on Facebook. And I was telling people to set your alarm, set your notification, make sure for 9 p.m. Central. 9 p.m. Central came and I went to go live and it was like, no, not going to happen. And I'm like, what's going on? I kept trying. So then I talked to the support for my service provider and they said, yeah, we're having an issue. And they just now, an hour and a half later, just now said that the system's back up. You can go if you want to. And I'm like, do I want to do this? But I said, you know what? The information that I have to share with you this evening, my opinion, is just too important not to talk about it. It's too important. This information that I want to share, and many of you probably already know about this, but I'm going to give them my take on it. Right? I mean, what's happening is that in my video, my little short video I did earlier, and I just did on Facebook because, like I said, I was testing something. I've been saying all of this stuff that these evil people have been doing is starting to come to light. It's starting to come to the surface, right? The light is being shined on it. What was in the darkness is now becoming to the light. And it's interesting, the timing of it. For me, it's interesting, the timing of it, because I look at the timing of everything. And we can't get relaxed. We can't get complacent. We can't think that, okay, everything is fine and dandy now. We can't think that way. We can't get that way, because soon as we get relaxed thinking, oh my goodness, all of this stuff that these people have done, there's no way that people will still support them. Well, the problem is that a lot of people don't know. A lot of people are ill-informed. A lot of people don't even get this information. They never even see this information. But I couldn't wait until tomorrow, so I want to do this. And I know that it's an hour and a half later, but you know what? Maybe the people that are already asleep on the East Coast, maybe they will see this tomorrow. And even the people here in Central Time Zone, maybe they'll see it tomorrow. That's if these big tech companies will allow them to see it. Okay. With that said, let me get on with this. And I'm live on my audio podcast too. Let me make sure. Yes, I'm live on the audio podcast. If you go to uniteamericaFirst.com/podcast, just click on the big red button right there. It'll take you to the live podcast, so where you can just listen to it. If you're busy, you don't have time to sit there on your phone, you can just go there, log into the Podbean. It's free for you. I pay, but it's free for you, and you get to listen while you do whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, let me share this with you. Now, of course, the left. Let me play it out like this, because I talked about it earlier. When Joe Biden went over to Saudi Arabia, and he said they changed the story on the reason why he went over there. They were saying that he didn't actually go over there for oil, to get them to produce more oil. Well, come to find out, when he went over there, he was trying to get them to continue to produce the amount of oil that they are producing, but wait and not shut it down until after the election. And the reason why we found this out is because the Saudis, they put out a memo saying, hey, everybody, you guys and gals in the United States of America, they're not saying it that way, but they're basically put it out there. I'm paraphrasing here. Not doing a parody, I'm paraphrasing, They basically said that, hey, Biden came over here and told us not to stop the drilling until after the election, because they already said that they're going to stop 1 million barrels a day, right? And then it come to find out that they said they're going to actually do 2 million barrels a day, which actually is going to cause the gas prices to go up here in the United States of America. We all know this, right? We're all looking at it. People in California are already talking about how the gas prices are going up, how the gas prices are going up throughout the country. And the Saudis released a memo saying Biden told them to wait until after the election. Said, wait 1 month out. He said, can you wait 1 month before you stop? Wait 1 month. And they said no. And they released the information that Joe Biden actually said. So question is, who's lying, right? Is the Biden regime lying, or are the Saudis lying? I think in this case, because Joe Biden lies so much and the Democrats lie so much. They lie so much. I want y'all to listen to this, because this is where the proof comes into the pudding. The guy that you see here, his name is Brian, and he works for the Biden regime. And he's asked a question by this guy that's interviewing him about the Biden administration literally saying to the Saudis, hold off for a month, basically until the election is over. And I told people, I said, I'm going to show you the proof. For those of you that haven't seen this, I'm going to show you proof. Listen to this.
You say it's a prudent use of the asset. Other people are very worried about this. You've drained the SPR to its lowest level in 4 decades. There's some accusation that you're putting the polls before America's energy security. Brian, the Saudis themselves said this morning that the U.S. requested a 1-month delay to the OPEC Plus output. I wonder why that would be. Brian, can you tell me whether you did ask the Saudis for a 1-month delay to that decision? Are they telling the truth?
Listen, you hear that? Did y'all hear what he just said? See, this really important. This last little sentence, the last couple of sentences right here. Did you actually ask him to wait 1 month out? And I'm sorry I had to stop it. Now I want y'all to listen to how he responds. The guy Brian from the Biden regime. Listen to how he responds.
The Saudis for a 1-month delay to that decision. Are they telling the truth?
Look, we clearly communicated our views to OPEC members that we thought it was short-sighted for them to take the action that they were contemplating, and they announced. With respect to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, this was a calibrated decision to address the real issues in the market. We talked to U.S. industry last winter. We identified that there was about a 1 million barrel a day gap between what they were producing this winter and what they said that they could get production to by late this fall. That 1 million barrel gap was what we calibrated to make the decision on the use of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And people should feel confident that the Strategic Petroleum Reserve continues to be an asset that we can deploy to address our economic and national security needs. That's always what has dictated the president's decision-making on this, and that's what will dictate his decision-making on this going forward.
Brian, you didn't...
Okay, I had to stop it there. Because that wasn't the question. Right? That wasn't the question. And he's basically lying, right? You're basically lying, because he's saying a bunch of nothing. It has nothing to do with the question. Did you or did you not ask the Saudis to wait a month, right? After the election, basically. Wait a month. They didn't say election, just wait a month. Did you or did you not? Did the Biden administration say this? Right? That's the question. And I like this guy. This guy doesn't let up. He doesn't let up. He drills him. Watch. It gets really good. Listen, hit the share button while you're at it.
And you didn't answer the question, so I'm going to ask it again. I'm going to share with you and share with our audience the quote from the Saudis this morning.
See, now here comes the actual quote from the Saudis. This is devastating, people. This means that they politicize our energy. Listen to this.
The government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would like to clarify that based on its belief in the importance of dialogue and exchange of views with its allies and partners outside of OPEC Plus regarding the situation in the oil markets, the government of the Kingdom clarified through its continuous consultation with the U.S. administration that all economic analyses indicate that postponing the OPEC Plus decision for a month, according to what has been suggested, would have had negative economic consequences. Brian, again, it's a really straight question. Did you ask the Saudis to delay that decision for a month? Are they telling the truth or not?
Yes. Are they telling the truth or not? And you see, he asked the question again. Did you actually tell them? Now, listen to how Brian from the Biden regime, listen how he responds. This guy's on point because he doesn't let up on him. Listen, and I'm going to try not to stop it because this is good. It's not good for America, but it's good that he was drilling him.
Look, I'm not going to get on air and disclose private conversations that members of our administration
had. It's not private. The Saudis have shared it with us. You've got the opportunity to say it's true or not. Is it true or not?
What I will say clearly is that the communications that we've had with OPEC members and continuing have been based on our assessment of the economic circumstances of supply and demand in global oil.
And he still never answered the question. Is it true or not? So basically, because he refuses to say, all he has to do is say this, look, and he can even lie. He can even lie because that's what they've been accustomed to doing. They've been lying to the American people all this time. He could literally just say, look, no, we didn't say that. They misunderstood our direction. They misunderstood what we were asking him. He could have said that, but he didn't even say that. He didn't even say that. He said everything but answer the question. And then he have the nerve to say, well, we're not going to talk about private conversations. It's not private. The Saudis let the cat out the bag. They probably weren't even expecting the Saudis to do this, but the Saudis did it. They told the American people, look what Joe Brandon doing. Look what Joe, your guy, is doing. He's asking us to hide the information. They wanted him to hide it. They didn't want them to put it out there. And then the Saudis released it. Now we all know that they're playing politics with your pocketbook. They're playing politics with the gas pump. They're playing politics to force you to buy a vehicle that you can't even afford. You understand that? That's what they're doing. They got caught. They probably weren't even expecting the Saudis to release that information. And he has the nerve to talk about, well, we're not going to talk about private information. The Saudis not leaving it private. They just exposed it. And that guy, he drilled him. Talking about something else that the left is trying to do, and that goes President Trump. Never before in the history of this nation have a organization, regardless if it's the Democrats or the Republicans, not a single time in the history of this nation have they spent so much time going after a president, going after a person that's not even in political office. You understand this? You understand this? They cannot help themselves. They're so terrified of President Trump returning that they're willing to do anything and even destroy this country to try to prevent it. Now, I talked about how y'all heard, right? The FBI. Y'all heard about the FBI? Y'all heard about that, right? How the FBI offered $1 million. $1 million to steal, to go ahead and say, yes, the Steele dossier was valid, and Steele didn't do it. He didn't do it. Why? Because if he would have done it and then the truth come out, he could go to prison. He probably still should go to prison for doing the dossier in the first place. But the FBI wanted him to still go along with it. $1 million that the FBI offered him. Wow. So did they find that documents? Did they find the documents about the $1 million in Mar-a-Lago? You know, that's the question I was asking. Did they find that document? I think that's part of what the FBI was looking for. And I told everybody before President Trump even came out and said it, I'm willing to bet that the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago looking for documents that would expose what the FBI has been doing, the corruption. I'm telling you, that's what they're looking for. But this information came out, and they didn't find it in Mar-a-Lago because they would have buried the story. $1 million. But listen to this. Now, supposedly, they got a employee that's a whistleblower at Mar-a-Lago that told the FBI one story, and now all of a sudden they have a new story coming from this person. So did they lie then, or are they lying now? Listen to this.
To that end, it soon emerged in the Justice Department's court filings that the reason the department had felt the need to take the unprecedented step of searching a former president's home was because the DOJ believed the documents were being hidden and moved after they had subpoenaed Trump to hand them over. They believed this in part because the department had also subpoenaed surveillance camera footage from Mar-a-Lago. And on that footage, they saw boxes being moved in and out of the storage room where these sensitive documents were ostensibly kept.
Now, these are the same cameras that the FBI wanted them to turn off. Right, so they can see these boxes being moved, right? The FBI subpoenaed the cameras so they can look at this, right? But they wanted to turn the cameras off when they came in there. Come on.
But the question always remained, why were they being moved? And specifically, who was directing this movement, this squirreling away of these documents after the Justice Department literally subpoenaed them? Well, tonight we have brand new reporting from the Washington Post. Quote, a Trump employee has told federal agents about moving boxes of documents at Mar-a-Lago at the specific direction of the former president. Agents have gathered witness accounts indicating that after Trump advisors received a subpoena in May for any classified documents that remained at Mar-a-Lago, Trump told people to move boxes to his residence at the property. That description of events was corroborated by the security camera footage, which showed people moving the boxes. The employee who was working at Mar-a-Lago is cooperating with the Justice Department and has been interviewed by multiple times by federal agents.
Okay, you hear that? She says that the whistleblower, the employee, has been interviewed multiple times. She didn't say a couple of times. She didn't even say a few times. She said multiple times. Now, to my understanding, if you say multiple times, that means more than one, more than twice, more than 3 times, maybe possibly 4 or 5 times, multiple times. But listen, she's gonna go back and say the first time she was interviewed, then the second time she was interviewed, her story changed. So did she lie to the FBI the first time, or she lied to the FBI the second time, or did the FBI decide to pay her or him or whoever the employee is $1 million to change their story?
In the first interview, the witness denied handling sensitive documents or the boxes that might contain such documents. As they gathered evidence, though, agents decided to re-interview the witness, and the witness's story changed dramatically. In the second interview, the witness described moving boxes at Trump's request.
Okay. So now the witness is saying that they moved it. That's the story now, right? That's the story now. So is the story, again, is the witness saying this because they got paid $1 million, like steal, like steal, they was offering $1 million to steal? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is a reoccurring thing with the FBI to offer people $1 million to change the story, especially when it comes to President Trump. I don't know. I'm asking. I haven't seen the receipt. I want to know. I'm asking. Apparently, if the FBI is paying $1 million out to people, I would imagine that's probably taxpayer money that they're paying out. I mean, you tell me. But the story changed. And so because the story changed to fit their narrative, that's the story that they want to believe is correct. Not the first story, right? Not the first one, but the second one.
The witness is now considered a key part of the Mar-a-Lago investigation, offering details about the former president's alleged actions and instructions to subordinates that could have been an attempt to thwart federal officials' demands for the return of classified and government documents. I can tell you that a source familiar with the matter tells NBC News tonight that the Washington Post reporting is accurate. So the former president of the United States appears to have defied a court-ordered subpoena for personal records, including classified information, and ordered his staff to hide those documents from law enforcement officials.
Really? Really? So and she sounds so glee about it, right? Like, this is a story that we want to believe. This is the story that we want. So did the witness lie before, or the witness lying now? And again, I'm just asking the question here. Did the FBI offer $1 million for the witness to change the story? Anybody, somebody knows. But listen to this. Listen to this one here. This is with Senator Hawley, and he's talking about the FBI and the corruption, right? With all of this. This is, Senator Hawley is awesome. He really is. Listen.
Well, I think what we've seen, Laura, in the last 2 years is we've gotten an up-close look at the corruption that is in our government, whether we're talking about the FBI, whether we're talking about DOJ, or whether we're talking about the kind of self-dealing that you have just outlined. And Republicans need to get serious about rooting out this corruption. It has got to be priority number one. By the way, Congress can start with itself. You want to talk about not doing self-dealing? How about Congress pass an actual stock trading ban, which is what I propose? If Republicans want to lead on this issue, this ought to be something that they run on. This ought to be something that we pledge to do. I've introduced the legislation. Let's get it done. And And once we ban stock trading among members of Congress, let's turn to DOJ, let's turn to the FBI, let's have a top-to-bottom review of what's going on at these increasingly corrupt agencies. It is time to give this government back to the American people, but Laura, it's not going to happen unless we root out the corruption.
Yeah, it's not going to happen unless you root out the corruption. But y'all hear one thing that he said in there? One thing that he said in there that the entire left will 100% disagree with. Did y'all hear it? Let's give the government back to the people. Give the government back to the people. Right? The entire left, they don't like that idea. They hate that idea. Talking about giving the government back to the people. Who does he think he is? Who does he think he is? We the people? That doesn't work today. This is year 2022. The left, this is how they think. We're the leftists, right? We're the leftists. We don't want to give the government back to the people. We want the government to be your guide. You know, that's exactly how they think. That's how they act. That's how they act. They want the government to control every aspect of your life. And again, you have Joe Brandon literally lying about everything, right? Literally lying about everything. Has there been anything that he has been truthful about? Anything? I can't think of anything. I mean, to give one example, he even lies about his own son. He even lies about his own son. Like there's no limits. Now, remember, he constantly would say that they're gonna beat cancer, right? He kept saying that, and that's no. I mean, I love the idea. He keeps saying it every now and then. He'll say, "We're gonna beat cancer. We're gonna beat cancer," because his son allegedly died from cancer. But that story has since changed.
Soldiers of the campaign learned to scale rock, ski, and survive, preparing for the war they were about to fight. The pivotal moment came, as the senator pointed out, in February 1945. A surprise Allied attack on the mountains in Italy. Imagine. It's pitch black, punishing cold. The mission, high in the mountains, that hinged on the skill, strength, and stamina that could have only been gained in a place like this. They were more than ready. They were more than ready that day and since then. American soldiers of the 10th Mountain Division scaled that 1,800-foot cliff at night, caught the Germans by surprise, captured key positions, and broke through the German defense line at a pivotal point in the war. Just imagine, I mean it sincerely, I say this as a father of a man who won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal, and lost his life in Iraq. Imagine the courage, the daring, and the genuine sacrifice.
So my question is, has he ever picked up that Bronze Star? Right? I mean, he's saying it, but has he ever picked it up? Where did he fix his mind to say that? I mean, he's literally lying over basically, metaphorically, over the grave of his dead son. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you bring yourself to do that? Is it that important that they push this narrative, that they lie like that? And you know what it is? Because it's a demonic spirit. The demonic spirit in these people. They don't care about the truth. They hate the truth. Wow. I can't even imagine doing that. His son is dead. Is he still voting? Hey, that's a question. That's a question. It's not really funny, but it's a question. Let me bring something else to your attention. And I saw this, and I haven't really gone into a deep dive on it, but I've seen it, and I'm talking about Tulsi Gabbard. She actually shook up the Democrat world. I mean, really. Her coming out making that statement, the Democrats, I think they're just as furious with her as they are with President Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They've already been calling her a Russian operative, literally lying. Right? She served in the military, the U.S. military. She served. And she's still part of the reserves, to my understanding. But they literally call her a Russian operative, and they try to say that she has just been terrible. Listen to the resident liberal here on Fox News, The Five.
Tulsi Gabbard hasn't been a Democrat for a very long time, and it's not because I'm pissed off that she criticized the 2016 primary process and, upset Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She has been vindictive and spiteful and angry towards Democrats. She's attacked our infrastructure. I thought, certainly in the last primary, in the 2020 primary, that she would have been a lot happier if Donald Trump had ended up winning. She does things that are completely inexplicable. I'm certainly not going to sit here and say that she has any direct ties to Russia, but I don't know how you end up in a position where they refer to you as our girlfriend on Russian state TV.
You can't control that.
Yes, you can. You can control what you say.
How?
You can
go to Russia and tell them, please don't say those things?
No, you could do things like not go on television and say that what we're doing here in the U.S. in terms of the free press isn't that different from what's going on in Russia. They throw journalists out windows in Russia. What happens here? Maybe you don't get to ask your question. She went to visit Assad in 2017 without telling the party leadership and came back and said that the people that she met supported him. This is someone guilty of terrible war crimes. Steve Bannon liked her so much that he had to get her a Trump Tower meeting right after he won the election. Why would Steve Bannon take such a shining to Tulsi?
Cheap. What you're trying to do, first you do it with Russia, now you do it with Bannon. What you're saying is if somebody else likes you, that's on you. I can't help it. I have some fans that can be kind of strange. That ain't my fault.
Steve Bannon isn't just kind of strange.
Well,
I'm saying if you're a Democratic official and Steve Bannon and Donald Trump think that you're aces and they want to meet with you and maybe consider you for being in the administration, you are doing something wrong.
It's not Joe Biden's fault that Joy Reid likes him. But Joy Reid is a nutcase.
Are you comparing Steve Bannon and Joy Reid?
No, I would say that I feel the same way about Joy Reid that you probably feel about Bannon.
And I feel the same way about Joy Reid as he does, because Joy Reid is a true nutcase. There's nothing joyful about her either. I mean, really, she's talking about Steve Bannon like Steve Bannon's really a bad guy. Steve Bannon has been telling the truth. And they don't like Steve Bannon because he's been telling the truth. See, you have a lot of liberals that think like she does. A lot of them. And they don't care.
What about the 75 million Americans who don't mind being connected to Donald Trump, who voted for him? Is there something wrong with them?
Some of them, like Steve Bannon.
Oh, cut it out. Oh, come on. That's not
person.
Okay,
let's go back to Tulsi.
Let's go back to Tulsi. Okay. Look, this is very interesting. We just spoke about the Democrats' vice president that they chose based on identity politics. A woman who can't get out of her own way to discuss anything when she has the power, she has the ability to get things done in this country and in the world. She is a half-wit compared to other vice presidents. That's number one. You've got Tulsi Gabbard, who put her life on the line for this country, compared to the half-wit that we have as vice president, who can't even address the issue she's supposed to. Let me tell you something. I give her credit for calling out what happened with the Democratic Party, the DNC, when Bernie Sanders was edged out by Hillary Clinton when she got the questions from what's-her-name, who said that we were criticizing her because she was a good Christian woman. What was her name? Donna Brazile. I mean, let's talk Turkey. You want to talk Turkey? Let's talk Turkey. This woman, Tulsi Gabbard, she is an educated, and she is far from vindictive, spiteful, and angry. You call her those things? I have never seen the woman.
You just called the vice president a half-wit.
She is a half-wit.
No.
Look.
She is a half-wit. Kamala Harris is a half-wit. There's no secret about it. The Venn circles.
Look at comedy shows. Look at your own comedy shows. The Democrats.
I don't own Seth Meyers.
Look, let me tell you something. Your own party makes fun of her. Your own party runs away from her. I have never seen Tulsi Gabbard raise her voice, and she put her life on the line. So don't you dare criticize
her for her service, but because you served, it doesn't mean that you are free of criticism for the rest of your life.
I do want to play this. She was on Joe Rogan's show, and she talked about friendships and politics. Watch here.
Okay, before we go to that, for those of you that have been watching my videos, and I played Liz Cheney, and I've always said we would be happy to trade Liz Cheney for Tulsi Gabbard. Now, there's some stuff in Tulsi Gabbard's past, but maybe she's changed, and I'm all for it. But I've already said it. I would be happy to trade Tulsi Gabbard for Liz Cheney, because Liz Cheney is a straight-up rhino democrat. Straight up. Straight up.
Like, if you're a Democrat and you decide to go on Tucker Carlson, for instance, like, what is that like?
It ranges from people kind of like giving you a cynical look, like, whose side are you really on, to people just outright ending that friendship or that professional relationship because they don't want to have anything to do with you.
Have you experienced that?
Over and over.
Oh, and I hate hearing that, Jesse, that politics should never end friendships, ever, but it does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, my mother doesn't speak to me anymore. You want to talk turkey? Do you want to talk turkey?
No, I've had enough turkey. Turkey leftovers right here.
I don't want to make this personal about Tulsi Gabbard. She has a point about how the Democratic Party is now unrecognizable from what it used to be. They're much more hawkish. They're not the party of the working man. They're the party of college graduates, elite institutions, the upper class. And they don't talk about health care and education and jobs anymore. They talk about January 6th all day. Or they talk about gender and race. And it's annoying. And
wokeism.
The bigger point that she's making is that there are a lot of insecure, snobby, cosmopolitan liberals that are dying for acceptance. So they will submit to whatever the woke language of the day is just to feel embraced by the elite institutions.
Exactly, 100%, just to feel embraced by these elite institutions. And again, they don't care. They don't care. But like I was telling y'all, because of Tulsi Gabbard, now I'm not saying solely because of Tulsi Gabbard, because the Democrats have already done enough damage. They've already done enough damage to this country, and people are starting to distance themselves away from the Democrat Party because of all of the wokeness that they've been pushing. They've been pushing all this wokeness. Now, this next clip that I have for you was at a AOC event. And this first clip is to show you all of the people that's showing up to AOC and listen to what she has to say. Right? All of these people to show up to listen to AOC. Look.
Okay? So, I'm looking out for you all. So there's two things. First, federally, with the president's marijuana-related.
I mean, so look, it looks like a room maybe can hold maybe 200 people and maybe 30 people showed up. I mean, maybe it could possibly be more people can go in there, maybe 250, but only maybe 30 people showed up. And I'm describing that for the people who's listening in on the audio podcast. Now, let's go to this one. This one completely describes how the support for these Democrats are turning out because people are fed up with it. People aren't taking it any longer. They're saying enough is enough.
Congresswoman, none of this matters unless there's a nuclear war, which you voted to send arms and weapons to Ukraine. Tulsi Gabbard, she's left the Democratic Party because they're a bunch of war hawks, okay? You originally voted, you ran as an outsider, yet you've been voting to start this war in Ukraine. You're voting to start a thermonuclear war with Russia and China. Why are you playing with the lives of American citizens? You're playing with our lives. There will be no...
And you know what? That's a white guy screaming this at her. So they probably just call him racist, right?
Neighbors, if there's a nuclear bomb...
And now we have a black guy that's agreeing with the white guy.
You voted to mobilize and send money to Ukrainian Nazis. You're a coward. You're a progressive socialist. Where are you against the war mobilization? He's telling the right truth. You have done nothing. Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice.
And that's why I was saying Tulsi Gabbard, I'm telling y'all, she has shaken up the Democrat Party and they don't like it. They're probably so angry with Tulsi Gabbard right now, they don't know how to react to her. They want her to go away. Literally, he sit there and said it, Tulsi Gabbard, really.
Tulsi Gabbard has shown guts where you've shown cowardice. I believed in you, and you became the very thing you sought to fight against. That's what you've become.
You are the establishment, and you are the reason why everybody will end up in a nuclear war unless you choose to stand up right now and denounce the Democratic Party. Will you do that? Yes or no? Okay, simple. Are you going to stop nuclear war? Yes or no? There is no line, because this is bullshit. None of this matters if we're all dead. None of it. You know that. Then let's take it up right now, because this is the only thing that matters. This is the only thing that matters right now. We could be in a nuclear war at any minute, and you continue to fund it. That's what's going on. Why not right now? You're the liar here. Nobody has held you accountable. That's what's happening. And it is time for you to stand up and realize that what you've been saying has been lies. Let your conscience come through for once.
And that's not going to happen. She doesn't have a conscience when it comes to that. It's not going to happen. But you know what? Thank you, Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I remember when I was in San Francisco one time, and I tried to talk to Tulsi Gabbard. I tried to have a conversation with her, just a simple conversation with her. And she avoided me like the plague. And I was like, what in the world? What's going on? She came up. She was talking to everybody in the line. And when she got to me, she looked at me and then she walked away. I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? And then I actually followed her. I said, can you explain to me why you talked to everybody else and you didn't want to talk to me? And you even talked to this black guy, but you won't even talk to me. And she just kept walking away. And then she said, look, I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to be. I said, but you stopped to talk to them. Why wouldn't you talk to me? So maybe if I ever see Tulsi Gabbard, maybe she'll finally talk to me. Now that she understands what the Democrat Party is all about. Maybe she'll talk to me. But you know what? That is the motto for the Democrat Party, to walk away when you get questions you don't want to answer. Just like this guy, when he's asked a question about if it's, if he's still supporting defunding the police. Look at this.
What changed if you're saying now that you support more funding for police?
I said I have supported state budgets that increase more funding for law enforcement.
Do you still stand by comments you made about reallocating money away from the police, Lieutenant Governor?
See? And then he walks away because he's only changing his tune because it's election season. That's the only reason why he's changing his tune. Now, this young lady, she's running for governor of Arizona. This is Kari Lake. And the other lady that's running against her, her name is Hobbs. And Hobbs, there's a Project Veritas video out there where they actually walk up to her and she's like real panicking. She spills her drink and she runs and she hides into the bathroom and locks the door. And they're just simply asking, why won't you debate, right? Why won't you have a debate with her? Won't you talk and go in front of your constituents that you're trying to be over and have a conversation? And she's literally trying to say that, well, she's afraid that she'll yell at her, talking about Kari Lake will yell at her. Kari Lake would be mean to her. Kari Lake won't be compassionate. But listen to what Kari Lake says.
The people in the liberal press need to demand that your candidate, the one you guys are backing in the liberal press, show up and debate. The people of Arizona deserve this. I promise her, Katie, I promise you can write the questions for me. I promise you I won't yell, Katie. I promise you I won't interrupt you. And if you want to have an emotional support animal there as well, I will agree to that.
I mean, she's not yelling. She said, if you need an emotional dog there, so you can pet emotional pet, so you can have the debate, she will agree to that. I mean, she's even allowing her to write the questions for her. I mean, come on. You know what? The problem I have with Arizona is that there's stupid rhino Republicans there supporting the Democrat. If you're a stinking rhino out there, change your party affiliation. Just change it. already. Like Liz Cheney, just change it. Really.
But show up like a grown-up and debate. We have serious issues facing this great state of ours. We've got the narco-terrorists controlling our border right now. How in the heck are you going to go up against them if you're afraid to debate me here at PBS? How in the heck are you going to go up against Gavin Newsom when he's stealing our water and fight back there? And when they're taking our energy? How in the heck are you going to fight for companies to come to Arizona when you have to go up against people like great governors, like Governor Abbott and Governor Kristi Noem and Governor Ron DeSantis? Arizona will lose if Katie Hobbs is elected.
100%. Kind of sounds like what President Trump was saying, you know. If Joe Brandon is there, America will lose. And do you think America's winning right now? Oh, that is a great question. Do you think America is winning? I think when I get done, I may even just post that on the various platforms. Just text. Do you think America is winning? Question mark. Right? Come on now. Think about it. That's an awesome question. And I really would like to know the answer to that. But, you know, because we're so close to the election, these big tech platforms, they have been censoring people, right? Now, you as conservatives, you see conservative stuff, right? For the most part. If you ever shared anything that's been conservative, or if you said anything that's been conservative, you know, pro-American, if you said anything, and the censor comes into place, so they're not allowing those on the left, for the most part, to see what we as conservatives are saying, and they're not allowing us on the right to see what these communists are saying. And you know what? We're being censored, but they're being censored as well, right? If these communist, socialist, Democrats have a positive message, then don't you think that the entire United States of America should see it? Don't you agree? Shouldn't we all be able to see it? But no, that's not the case. That's not the case. And it's all by design. The algorithms, they put it in there in place for that very reason, so you don't see it. That's the reason why they do it. That's the reason why they do it. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for being with me. I know it's late. I came on late because it was like technical issues going. Not my fault this time. I'll take blame for it if it's my fault, but this time it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. But it's fixed now, and I could not wait to bring this information. April, thank you so much for the stars. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Then Michelle, thank you so much as well. And Barbara, thank you so much. I've seen Barbara in there a couple of times. Patricia, thank you so much. Anna, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Bonnie, thank you. Mary, thank you. Daniela, thank you. Lenora, thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, I think that is it. Thank you, everybody, for being with us this evening. Please do me a favor, if you would, hit the share button on this. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the flip side. Reality check.